Genevaders, this is me, Jordan here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now, Genevaders, welcome to the third episode of my brand new series, Jordan's Weekly Breakdown, the show where I break down latest news, interviews, promo pictures, whatever it is that happens that week. Welcome to this brand new episode. We have a lot to get through today because today was the massive event from Disney, the Walt Disney Investors Day, where we got major news from Lucasfilm, Pixar, Marvel, all that sort of stuff. You know, throughout this entire week I was compiling a list of notes for news and stuff like that we received this week, and without the Investors Day it was already at 2 pages. And so, if I included all the other news this week, this video would be probably over an hour. So the plan is that I will make this episode specifically about the Disney Investors Day, and next week I will be covering this week's other news and next week's news at the same time, because I don't want to make this video even longer than it probably already will be. So this video is just specifically on the Walt Disney Investors Day. I obviously don't have every single piece of news that we received this week, because we got a crap ton of news from Disney, Pixar, all these other TV shows and documentaries, and National Geographic, and all these other things, so there's no way I could cover it all in one video. So what I've done is I've just cut the main news from Lucasfilm, main news from Disney, and basically just talk about what's the most important, what's the biggest news, and what also is of interest to me, because it is my show. So without further ado, let's just get started with the third episode of my brand new series, Jordan's Weekly Breakdown, Walt Disney Investors Day Special. Here we go. Alright, so in this episode we're going to go in chronological order, in the order of which the news was announced in. So we're going to begin this episode by talking about what was announced first, which was about the actual streaming service itself, Disney+. So let's discuss this news. So today I believe it was announced for the first time, a brand new addition to Disney+, called Star. It's actually called Star in Australia, Star Plus in America, and there's also Disney Hotstar, whatever. It's really confusing. So we're going to break this all down because, okay, so what Star is, basically it's just an addition onto Disney Plus where you can have mature content 18 plus and over and stuff like that, or MA or whatever you call it in America. So it's basically just for mature content, not adult movies, but movies targeted for a high audience that otherwise wouldn't be on a family-friendly service called Disney. So in Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, Canada, Europe, it's called Star, so it's just additional tile on Disney Plus. There's Marvel and Star Wars, and then the separate tiles are Star. Whereas I believe in America and other countries around the world, it's a completely separate app. So for me, it's just $3 more expensive or whatever in Australia, but in America and stuff like that, it's a completely separate app. And I feel really lucky that we don't have to get all these different streaming platforms for Fox and Disney. It's all in one place, so I'm grateful for that. It's basically our version of Hulu, because I know America has Hulu and stuff like that. We don't actually have that here. I think Stan's kind of our equivalent, but has none of the actual Fox movies. I'm not so sure. It's all really confusing. Do they have Hulu and Disney Star, or is a separate thing? I don't know. I'm kind of confused. And then Hotstar is a combination of Star and Disney. It's a collaboration with Indian cell providers or something like that. It's really confusing. I recommend going over to the website, which I'll leave linked down below, or just some articles or whatever you can go and check out, because it's really confusing. So as I said before, it'll include mature content from Disney's brands such as FX, 20th Century Studios, ABC, and much more, which will include movies like Logan, Alien, Die Hard, Deadpool, along with TV shows like Grey's Anatomy, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and lots more. So it's basically not anything that would be defined as family-friendly Disney brand. It would go over to Star, whatever it's called. Anyway, so that's just an update, and they're going to be raising the price, I believe, to £9 from £7 or something in Europe or whatever, and here it's going from $7 to 15 or something. It's insane. But we're getting so much content next year, so it makes sense that it's so expensive. So yeah, those are really all the updates that we've got in regards to the actual app itself. Obviously, there's the economics behind the app and everything. They now have 83 million subscribers or something like that. So they're inching closer to the 100 million mark. I suppose they'll probably hit it when WandaVision comes out. But anyway, so that's really all the updates we've got in regards to the actual service. Now let's talk about some of the content that will be on it, beginning with Lucasfilm. Here we go. Alright, now before I discuss all the news that we received from Lucasfilm at today's event, I need to disclose something. It's a disclosure for everybody. I haven't seen Star Wars or Mandalorian. Please don't cancel me, Star Wars fandom on Twitter. But so yeah, I can't really be the most educated person to give you like theories or whatever in regards to what will happen. So basically all I'll do is I will just like tell you basically the news that we've got today, and maybe if I have anything to add on, I will. But don't come to me for any questions or something you might have on these shows. I wouldn't be able to help you. So just don't ask me. I'm just going to basically read out the news. When we get to Marvel, I've seen Marvel, so I could be able to, you know, probably talk about theories and stuff like that. But in regards to Star Wars, I'm not that big of a fan. I haven't even seen a movie of Star Wars. I'm getting to it. Trust me, I'm getting to it. I know I need to watch it so badly. I really want to, but I'm getting to it. But unfortunately, yeah. Anyway, so let's just get started with the news that we received today. So Kathleen Kennedy came out today, and the first big announcement was that 2 spin-offs are in development at Lucasfilm from The Mandalorian and from Star Wars. So the first one's Ahsoka Tano. I spoke about this in last week's Jordan Weekly Breakdown, where I spoke about the news about Dave Filoni saying chronologically when does her appearance in Mandalorian take place, and I said there's a lot of been like rumors and stuff like that about her getting a spin-off, and it was officially confirmed today. It's going to be called Ahsoka. We didn't really get much news about what the actual storyline's going to be, and same with the second show, which is called Rangers of the New Republic. We didn't really get much news about this show either, except this quote from Kathleen, which says, "Set within the timeline of The Mandalorian, these interconnected shows, along with future stories, will excite new audiences, embrace our most impassionate fans, and will culminate in a climactic story event." So, yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell you much about what's going to happen in this series, as I said. Another show that was discussed, I believe this was already announced prior, is the Andor show, which Kathleen describes as a tense, nail-biting spy thriller. Diego Luna is confirmed to be returning as Cassian Andor and will be joined by Stellan Skarsgård, Callie Sola, Denise Go, Fiona Shaw, Adria Arona, and Genevieve O'Reilly as Mon Mothma. They confirmed that they just began production 2 weeks ago in London, and they showed a brand new look. It was basically just reused footage from Rogue One, and was just describing behind the scenes or whatever. We didn't actually see a new look, or so I hear. You could show me that trailer and say this is all from the show, and I believe you because I haven't seen Rogue One. But so I hear it's not from the actual show. It's just reused footage, if that makes sense. And then moving on to the Obi-Wan show, which I know was announced last year at D23. It was confirmed that Hayden Christensen is confirmed to be returning as Darth Vader at Obi-Wan. Production is set to begin in March. The show will take place 10 years after the events of Revenge of the Sith. I'm not that oblivious to Star Wars. I know who Darth Vader is, at least. But I know James Earl Jones plays him, and David Prowse, I believe his name is, who passed away tragically a few months ago. But yeah, I've never heard of this person before, so... But so yeah, obviously if you're a Star Wars fan, that's epic news. Just like how I absolutely fanboyed when I found out that Mark Ruffalo was coming back in She-Hulk, I suppose this was big news for you too, that Hayden Christensen's coming back. It's a favorite character, and we're going to see some more interactions between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader in this series. Once I catch up to the Star Wars, I definitely will be looking forward to this show. Anyway, and then we saw a trailer for the animated show coming up, Bad Batch, which I believe is a spin-off of Clone Wars, the animation was really good. I saw the trailer. I don't understand what's going on, but I didn't think it was enjoyable nevertheless. I know I'm making really uneducated theories and stuff like that about Star Wars. I will watch it eventually, I promise. It was also announced by Kathleen that Star Wars Visions, an original series of animated short films, is coming to Disney Plus, celebrating the Star Wars galaxy. It will be in anime format through the visions of several leading Japanese studios. So you can see how innovative Star Wars is. They have like short films, animation, they have like live action shows, but then you have like all these other things. They're really innovating. Anime, I'm not that big of a fan of anime. I don't really like the animation style, or I'm just not that big of a fan of anime. If you love it, great, but it's not for me. So I don't know how it fits into the context of a Star Wars story, but anime in general, I probably won't watch it because it's anime. I just don't like anime, I don't know. Anyway, it was also confirmed that a brand new series, Lando, is coming, with Landon Clarison returning, which is a brand new event series for Disney Plus, which is in the early stages of developing the project. We don't know whether it's live action format or not. If it's animation, I'm not a big fan of animation, I prefer live action, but if it's a live action, I'll definitely tune in. Actually, I have seen a few episodes of Mandalorian, and what I've seen of that was actually really good. But anyway, so, yeah. It was also confirmed that R2-D2 and C3PO are getting their own adventure at Disney+. They're developing an animated story called A Droid Story, featuring the duo. So this was the exact quote about the R2-D2 show. She said, "This epic journey will introduce us to a new hero guided by our most iconic duo on a secret mission known only to them. What could possibly go wrong?" It'll probably kind of have that like buddy cop sort of feel to it. I think it's just a cute little series. I don't think it's anything meant to be taken too seriously. And then we also got some more news about a show called The Acolyte, which is a mystery thriller that will take viewers in a galaxy of shadowy secrets and emerging dark side powers in the final days of the High Republic era, telling the story from a Sith point of view. And then they talked about theatrical news, and we got confirmation, more news of Indiana Jones 5. Harrison Ford's coming back. They're filming it at the end of next year, hopefully for a 2022 release date. We've had a lot of delays and a lot of stumps on the road, so who knows if this movie will ever get made. But yeah. And then, speaking of theatrical, it was confirmed that Patty Jenkins will direct another Star Wars movie called Rogue Squadron, including a new generation of starfighter pilots as they lift their wings and risk their lives in a bounty-pushing high-speed ride. It will be released in theaters in Christmas 2023. I really liked Wonder Woman. I wasn't that big a fan of it, but I did like it for the most part. And in 2 weeks, I'm seeing Wonder Woman 84, so I'll be able to tell you if I like that. But from what I've seen, I think Patty Jenkins can definitely pull this off. She's definitely got the talent for it. She posted a whole video on her Twitter about why she chose to do Rogue Squadron in particular. I know that's the title of a game, so maybe they'll base some of the story off of that, but I doubt it. They wouldn't. I don't know. It's interesting. So it'll be very interesting. And also, speaking of directors that I like or I think they'll do a good job, Taika Waititi will offer a fresh, expected, and unique Star Wars movie. And he's in the process of writing it right now. Obviously, he's filming Thor: Love and Thunder in January here in Australia. And then he'll go off to film this, which will be released, I think, in 2024. They said? I think 2023. I'm not so sure. Don't quote me on that. But I think he'll definitely bring some of the comedy that we all love from Thor Ragnarok. He's definitely got the visual effects right, because Thor Ragnarok was all taken up in space and everything, and that was really cool in regards to visual effects and stuff like that. So he's definitely got the talents. He's an Academy Award winning writer, so who knows what they'll do with this movie. I'm looking forward to seeing it once I officially get caught up on the Star Wars movies. So yeah, those are all the real news we received from Lucasfilm. Now let's talk about Disney and Pixar. And as I said before, we've got so many things that I won't be able to talk about all of them, mainly just the things that are important or that I really care about. So let's discuss Disney Pixar news. Here we go. Alright, so the first thing in this category I'm going to talk about is a brand new sequel announced for Diary of a Wimpy Kid, which is going to be animated, and they showed a little clip of Greg Heffley just animated rolling down a hill or something. For as long as I can remember, I've watched Dog Days, Roderick Rules, The Long Haul. I'm a big fan of these movies. I even have the whole box set, I'm pretty sure. So I was a big fan of these movies, and not really anymore. Haven't seen them in a few years, but definitely in my early years I really enjoyed these movies. And the first time I heard this news, I was like, that's a Disney movie? But then I realised it's a Fox movie and Disney owns Fox. Anyway, so what do I think of this news? I would love to see a sequel for sure to Long Haul. Probably one of the most recent ones, like Double Down or any of those ones. But animated? I don't know. If you said to me, oh, they're going to do an animated thing, I'd be like, that's pretty cool, but the animation that they showed us, not that great. And as I said before, I'm not that big of a fan of animation, period. Regardless of what movie or whatever it is. I just don't really like animation. So I don't know, I'll definitely give it a chance. I'll definitely watch it, but do I think it'll be that great of a movie? Probably not. But yeah, I'll give it a chance. I'm not gonna just completely disregard it just because it's animation, but we'll see. The second thing in this category is the confirmation of a prequel to the 2019 remake of The Lion King, where it will revisit iconic characters with director Barry Jenkins. Now, I watched last year's movie. I love Jon Favreau, but for me, the movie didn't really work because it was mostly just a rehash of the entire movie, shot for shot. I've literally seen comparisons where literally, the slightest hand movement or whatever, they copied into the remake. And if you're interested, you can see my full review of the movie by clicking that button up there. So I wasn't that big of a fan of it, and it's a sequel to that movie that I wasn't that big of a fan of. I'll definitely watch it because it's Disney, it's a musical. I love it, but I feel like it's just a cash grab. I really do. Now, do I think it'll be a direct copy of the director DVD, Lion King 1.5, whatever it's called? I don't think so. They're saying it's a prequel, so will they show Scar and Mufasa's early years? Mufasa, is that his name? I don't know. We're so forgetful. I don't remember. But yeah, will they show like their backstory or something like that? Them growing up or something like that? Who knows? Baron Jenkins is going to be the director, so Jon Favreau's not returning, which is actually shocking. I don't know. I'll have to give it a shot. I don't want to completely disregard it, as I don't want to do for Diary of a Wimpy Kid either. But it just feels like a cash grab. I feel like literally they just announced sequels after remakes. They don't have anything new. Obviously, Marvel and Lucasfilm have something new coming out, but in regards to Disney and Pixar, they just feel like they're just rehashing the same old movies and remakes and sequels and reboots, and I'm just like, come on, Disney, come on. You're really creative, you've got the money. Just try a little harder just to put out original content, please. Now, speaking of remakes, we just got confirmation today of the live-action remake of Little Mermaid. Little Mermaid has a special place in my heart because I was one of the first musicals that I ever did. I was the understudy for the chef. Le poisson, how I love le poisson. That was my line. Oh, please don't take that out of context. I wasn't even the main member. I was just the understudy. Anyway, so it's got a special place in my heart, and it's got a great cast. It has Hailey Bailey, David Diggs, who's Lafayette in Hamilton. If you know me, I've got a literal, probably clinically diagnosed condition that I am so obsessed with Hamilton. So seeing David Diggs in anything I watch with music written by Alan Menken, and you guessed it, Lin-Manuel Miranda. So I'll be watching this, and I'll literally be watching interview upon interview because it's David Diggs and Lin-Manuel Miranda. I love them two so much, and I cannot wait for this movie just because of them two. And they're not doing like role stereotypes like, oh, Little Mermaid, she's a princess and she's white in the animated movie, she must be white in this. No, they're expanding. And yeah, David Diggs, he'll be a great prince. But yeah, and also speaking of sequels and like spin-offs and stuff like that, Baymax, who was from the Oscar-winning movie Big Hero 6, has his own spin-off which will be focusing on his original mission, which was to like serve as a nurse or something, they said. I kind of tuned out in this moment. But yeah, I'm not really that interested in a Baymax spin-off. Probably, I don't know, if I have time I'll watch it. I just don't really care, to be honest. But speaking of spin-offs, we have two new spin-offs in development. One from Zootopia and one from Moana. The Zootopia is called Zootopia Plus on Disney Plus. Very original names, guys. With Zootopia focusing on minor characters from the original movie, such as the Sloth Flash and other characters. And the Moana movie is a spin-off, a musical comedy series with research in the Pacific. Obviously, Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote the music to the original movie, so they didn't confirm it. So I wonder if he'll be back to do the spin-off, seeing as they said it was a musical comedy series. So he's doing the Little Mermaid, perhaps he's doing the Moana spin-off. And speaking of Lin-Manuel Miranda, he's doing a third Disney, well, a second confirmed, but a third most likely, a project for Disney. Disney's 60th movie. It will be set in Colombia with a magical home. It'll tell the story of like a magical family, like enchanted stories or whatever. It'll be called Encanto, which means enchanted place, and with Lin-Manuel Miranda writing music. Lin-Manuel Miranda, world domination, I tell you. He wrote Hamilton, he wrote In the Heights, he was in Mary Poppins Returns, he wrote Moana, he's going to be in The Heights next year, he's going to be writing the music for The Little Mermaid, and now this movie, and now Lin-Manuel Miranda, world domination is coming, I tell you that. This is basically becoming a Lin-Manuel Miranda stand account, isn't it? I'm sorry. I just really admire him. So, yeah, Lin-Manuel Miranda, world domination. You might want to get ready for it, because if not, it's going to hit you like a storm. So, yeah, I'm really, really excited for this movie, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and it sounds really cool, because obviously he did, like, that sort of type of, like, sort of feel music in The Heights. So, I definitely think he's got the chops to do this upcoming movie, and it just happened to be the 60th movie, so he gets the milestones for Disney, I suppose. And the final thing in this category is the announcement of a spin-off of Toy Story, which is called Lightyear, which is based on the real Buzz Lightyear, of which the original toy was based off. So it's not a spin-off about the actual toy itself, voiced by Tim Allen. It's about the real person that inspired the toy. So I found that really interesting. So Tim Allen won't be there, instead it'll be Chris Evans. However, I feel it would make more sense though if it was to be the real Buzz Lightyear voiced by Tim Allen, and then they just basically just stole that the real one and just make it as a toy, just to say this like has the same voice or whatever as the real one. However, it's not that big of a deal. I think Chris Evans can easily pull this off. I mean, yeah, I like the Toy Story movies, and I liked his character and Tim Allen's portrayal, so it'll be interesting to see like the origins of that character itself. So I'm really looking forward to all these new shows from Pixar, some more than others of course, and Lin-Manuel Miranda, world domination. So let's get started started with the major topic for today, which is the Marvel news and trailers that we got today. So let's discuss it. Here we go. Alright, now let's begin the Marvel topic by talking about the first thing that Kevin Feige revealed today at the Investors Day. The first thing that he showed was a trailer for WandaVision. I think we all expected this because they had been releasing these sort of posters from like the 1960s all the way up through to the 2000s or whatever, like in a new decade every single week or something, like 1 p.m. or whatever. So they're like releasing all these posters up until the 2000s, and I think everyone realized that was the day that it was going to be Investors Day, and so it made sense that it would be the trailer released that day. So they were right, we got a WandaVision trailer today, and a lot of people thought, including myself, that that's what we get, we're just a WandaVision trailer. But no, we received a Loki trailer, we received a Falcon and Winter Soldier trailer, a What If trailer, a sizzle reel at Miss Marvel, at all these stings, and I was mind blown. I was literally screaming and crying. I was fanboying so hard. So let's get into the WandaVision trailer breakdown. Oh my gosh. Okay, so in case you're unaware, what this show will do is it'll start off in like sitcoms and sort of things, and like different decades, with both Wanda and Vision at their house, and like this alternate reality sort of thing. And it's just going to be very, very light and joyful and optimistic and that sort of stuff, with just Vision and like Wanda just living their best life in this house together. But then throughout the entire season, what will happen is you'll start to see the transition between this alternate reality and the real reality. You know, how like her mental health is declining because she's coming to terms with the real reality, where Vision is obviously dead. Spoiler alert, Thanos killed him at the end of Infinity War, and so she's coming to terms with that and realizing that this isn't real life. You start to see that in the trailer with Monica Rambeau, where she realizes, I don't even know who I am, and that's when she starts to realize, this doesn't feel right. How do you not even know who you are? Like, what's going on? So yeah, that will happen throughout the entire season. In this trailer, we saw like Vision and Wanda preparing to have children, and like new looks, as I said before, both Monica Rambeau and also this new character called Agatha Harkness, a sorcerer. So as seen in both trailers, like both realities begin to sort of mix with one another. When Monica, who was the little girl in Captain Marvel, I believe, and she knows Wanda in the previous reality, but not this alternative one. And like even in the last trailer, where someone approached Vision and said, you know, I know you because you're dead, I'm not dead, or something like that, where they both realize that this doesn't feel right. And so that's what the whole storyline's going to be, like dealing with this new reality, but also trying to accept the true reality, if that makes sense. At least that's my prediction, at least. We also see Wanda touching the Mind Stone and kind of reliving the day where she like tried to kill with Vision to save the world from Thanos, but then Thanos ended up killing everybody anyway. So that'll also be like a callback to Infinity War. We'll see a lot of that throughout the entire season. And then my prediction, at least at the end, what will happen is we see a final farewell to Vision. I think we won't see Paul Bettany in the MCU going forward at all. I think she'll finally have to come to terms with the fact that Vision's gone. Like, hence, they've confirmed that Wanda will be coming back in Doctor Strange 2, but they haven't confirmed Vision, so I think this will be Vision's final ride. But they come to term that Vision's 100% dead, and, you know, it's going to be a very emotional journey for Wanda throughout this entire season. Definitely, as the trailer suggests, like, when she's going around the room, and, you know, she's, like, everything's changing around her. She's going crazy. So it's going to be really, really interesting, this entire show. We also see a massive crowd, and Vision and Wanda look to be, like, fighting for it, trying to defend their city. I think based on Vision's look, I think he knows that he's a superhero sort of thing now, rather than just a random sitcom character. So I think this is like one of the final episodes where they come to terms with the fact that this isn't their real reality and they've got to save this fake one. Who knows? I'm really interested. And we also see a look at Darcy, who was the assistant in Thor 1 and Thor 2 in the series 2. I don't think we saw her in the last trailer, so that was confirmation, and that's a new look at her in the series. So yeah, I think it'll be really, really interesting. The reality sort of manipulation from Wanda and everything, I think will open up the portal to the multiverse, which is, well, to get to this later on, which will tie into Spider-Man 3. Yeah, I'll talk about this in a bit, so let's just leave that for the meantime. So then they talked about the Doctor Strange sequel, and it's confirmed that Rachel McAdams has been confirmed to be returning as Christine Palmer, who was the girlfriend to Doctor Strange 2. So this actually was going to be part of the news segment for this weekly breakdown before this Investors Day sort of things. So I already planned to talk about this. So Doctor Strange is probably like my second least favorite Marvel movie. I really didn't like it. I thought it was boring. Like the animation and the CGI, do not get me wrong, that was amazing. But the actual storyline and like I just wasn't that big a fan of it. The villains were mediocre in my opinion, other than the final time leap with Dormammu. But anyway, so I think with Sam Raimi at the helm, with the fact that it'll tackle the multiverse and like they'll probably have a Spider-Man in it, and obviously Wanda, which will lead from the events from WandaVision and Spider-Man 3 into Doctor Strange 2. That'll be really, really interesting. But if it's anything like the first, I probably won't like it. But I have faith in Sam Raimi. I think it'll be fun. Kevin Feige describes Doctor Strange 2 as a movie that was really pushing the boundaries of storytelling with this thrilling, scary, mind-bending adventure. So according to him at San Diego Comic-Con last year, it's PG-13 and you're going to like it. So we know it won't be R or MA here or anything like that. It'll still be scary, but not so scary that it goes beyond the typical MCU age rating. Anyway, so yeah, I'm looking forward to the sequel. I'm waiting to see like some new content from it because they've started filming and I'm just wanting to see some set photos or something like that. Anyway, and now speaking of Doctor Strange 2, Kevin Feige confirmed the popular theory that not only will WandaVision impact Doctor Strange 2, but also the events of Spider-Man 3, which will impact the Multiverse of Madness, the Doctor Strange sequel. So this kind of basically confirms the theory that, Wanda will do something with reality or something to mess up the timeline in WandaVision, which will lead to Spider-Man having to deal with the repercussion of that in the Spider-Man 3, and then obviously we'll probably see the portals open up and we begin to see all the different Spider-Man and like Gwen Stacy and Mary Jane, all these people show up, which I will talk about this later on in next week's Jordan Week breakdown because I wasn't a part of this week's news. So anyway, so yeah, Spider-Man 3 will deal with the repercussions of that, and perhaps Daredevil, if the leaks are true, who knows, we'll talk about that next week also. And Doctor Strange and Wanda will sort of resolve that, and probably we'll see like all these other characters or whatever throughout the multiverse in Doctor Strange 2. So I'm really looking forward to this whole multiverse storyline. This will be like the new Infinity Saga thing where they're looking for their stones or whatever throughout the entire saga. I think the multiverse will become a thing in phase 4 and 5, and then who knows, we'll probably have an existential threat at the end that will try to destroy the entire multiverse, not just half of human life on Earth. But anyway, so let's move on to the next Disney Plus show, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Here we go. So I don't think many people were expecting it. I think it was definitely possible, but a lot of people weren't expecting a Falcon and Winter Soldier trailer at this event. Now I'm going to break it all down for you right now. So we begin by seeing Sam Wilson in the Captain America exhibition, pondering about the legacy that Steve Rogers left behind by giving him the shield, and the legacy that it has, about whether or not he should take up the mantle of Captain America. We then see Bucky and Sam go through marketplaces and just around the town, and we see Bucky trying to encourage Sam that people need something to follow. They need a believer. They need someone just to look up to. That we should take up the role of Captain America. We also see reused shots of Zemo from Civil War. This was shown in the Super Bowl trailer. And also a US agent, I believe his name is, running across the field like a Thanksgiving match or something. I don't know, I'm not American. We then see Zemo chasing Falcon and Bucky, and some more shots of them fighting throughout a highway and this building. This was filmed in Czech Republic, I believe. I can definitely tell. So yeah, I think Zemo's going to be the main villain of the entire show. And I think he was a really good character in Civil War. That's one of my favorite movies. I love Zemo, so I'm really looking forward to seeing him, in his comic book accurate suit. And then the trailer concludes with an epic fight sequence where Falcon jumps out of a plane and flies through cliffs, dodging missiles and stuff like that. It's an epic fight sequence. I love that they're treating their series as movies. They're not saying, oh, that's a TV show, we can give that $2 an episode or whatever. They're actually putting money into this, and they're just treating it as a real series, but just with 6 episodes instead of a 2-hour movie, if that makes sense. The trailer also confirms a March 19 release date, because I think the rumors were it's going to be August-ish, and I don't think anyone was expecting literally 2 months after WandaVision, and then 2 months before Loki, which was also confirmed for a May release date, which I'll talk about very soon. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this series. It's up there. I don't think it's my most anticipated. It's definitely up there. I think it'll be really cool. It'll be a nice action thriller sort of thing, spy sort of theme. It'll be really, really fun, and I'm excited to see it in March next year. Okay, now let's get on to the first movie of Phase 4, which is Black Widow. We didn't get any news about it other than the fact that they're confirming that they're 100% they're dedicated to the theaters. They're dedicated to releasing it theatrically. This surprised a lot of people, including myself. I literally had a thumbnail ready to go with Black Widow's face and the Disney Plus symbol on top of it. So I was literally expecting this announcement that it'll be on Disney Plus today. So I'm genuinely surprised that they're keeping it in cinemas. But hey, if Warner Brothers is going to keep theaters alive, I'm so glad that Disney is, because I do not want to see these epic blockbusters on my stupid laptop. Anyway, so thank you. I don't know how long theaters are actually going to last, but thank you, Disney, for just trying to at least pretend like you're dedicated to the theatrical experience. I spoke about like the whole situation regarding Warner Brothers, and they're announcing like 17 movies are going to go onto the HBO Max service in last week's video. Next week I will discuss the controversies surrounding like James Gunn's not happy, and like the back end deals with like Gal Gadot, and like Christopher Nolan's really angry, and like Legendary, and like all these. I'm going to discuss the entire drama and lawsuits and stuff surrounding Warner Brothers deal next week, so stay tuned for that. But so yeah, that's all really we got about Black Widow. The next Disney Plus show that we got a trailer for was Loki. So it began by showing us the events of Endgame, where Loki gets a hold of the Tesseract. We see him teleport to a desert sort of thing, and he lands on it. And then he's instantly taken by these guards up the elevator to the TVA, which stands for the Time Variance Authority. You can see on his shirt the acronym, where, as the title suggests, according to Owen Wilson, time works differently there. So I assume that they'll be like talking about, you know, time travel. They'll kind of be like the Time Masters in Legends of Tomorrow, if you've seen that show in a way. But so yeah, it'll be like just an authority that he's going to be closely working with throughout the entire season, by looks of it. And he's going to be working there and trapped and serving time for his crimes on Earth. Throughout the trailer, we see what looks to be like the Grim Reaper sort of thing, like just go around burning some fields, and like who knows. I have literally zero clue. If you've read the Loki comics or whatever, or Thor comics, you probably know who this is, or Greek mythology or whatever he's from, Norse mythology, whatever it is. If you know the characters or the mythology behind like Thor and Loki, you probably know who this Grim Reaper character is. But for me, it's just literally the Grim Reaper. I'm like, Halloween was 2 months ago, like. I don't know, it's creepy. It's not really what I was expecting from this series, but I'm still looking forward to it. It looks really good. I love Tom Hiddleston. So we also see Loki in trial at the Time Variance Authority, or TVA. I'm just going to say TVA because it's easier. And he looks like he's forced to react to clips of Avengers defeating him in the 2012 movie, or the 2020 footage of the 2012 movie, which doesn't really make sense. How do they have an angle from his perspective of them capturing him, if that makes sense? So yeah, he's like forced to watch it, which I thought was really, really funny. And Loki also seems to be accompanying these authorities in like a journey. He's kind of like having the role of the Suicide Squad because he has like this neck chain around his thing, so if he does anything wrong, he'll probably get an electric shock or something like that. So he looks to be like fighting for them. Obviously, due to his crimes on Earth, he's probably serving time by doing this. That's probably what they decided at the trial, that instead of having to go to jail, he'll just do their jobs for them because he's such a formidable fighter. Who knows? And we see Loki undercover on an airplane, presumably for the TVA. We see a few more fight seats and Loki running. He tries to escape the plane, but then he's stopped by this sort of like cosmic being or something, like shoot him down. I think that's him at least. We don't really get a clear footage of who was that flying, but I presume it's him. And then he tries to escape again with a lot of these people that look to be on his side, but then they turn on him, and then there's like everyone stabs him, and he's like, oh crap. So yeah, that's basically what we got from the trailer. It wasn't supposed to reveal much of the plot. It was just like it was a first look at the show, and it also confirms a May 2021 release date. So what do I think of this trailer? I think it was really, really good. It definitely is like differentiates itself from other shows and like other movies and stuff like that. So it's kind of like a spy sort of thriller sort of thing. Like Kevin Feige said that they're trying to expand with genres from this show and stuff like that because of this new platform that they have and everything. So it sounds really, really interesting and looks it, and I'm really, really excited to see it. May 2021, bring it on. Okay, now let's discuss the next Marvel trailer, which was for What If, the animated show about different possibilities from like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, basically an Elseworld story. So let's do the trailer breakdown. Here we go. So one thing that I want to talk about is that we got official confirmation that Chadwick Boseman has recorded these lines, or at least a few of them from the trailer, from what we've seen. And you know, so we're gonna get one final farewell and one last ride of Chadwick Boseman. So it's gonna be definitely emotional. It's gonna be tough, but I think I'm really excited to see it because it's gonna be really interesting, and you know, it's Chadwick, and it's, you know, it's gonna, I'm looking forward to this show. The trailer focuses a lot on T'Challa as Star-Lord, so like showing the origin of him being picked up and raised by Yondu, and like saying, why just explore one world, we can explore several. And we also see Peggy becoming Captain America and fighting these villains and everything. But like, we basically saw all this like in stills from D23, from last year's convention, so basically this was just like a moving version of those images. Like for example, like that Captain Skull, we saw this image last year in the D23 event, and then we saw it in moving picture in this trailer. So yeah, it wasn't really many new things that we saw. I don't know, it's not like we can be spoiled or show the plot or whatever, because every single episode is going to be a completely different thing, so it's going to be confusing. And we also see Doctor Strange quite a bit, including like him falling through this like massive cosmic, I don't know what it was, and then we saw him like pulling these ropes or whatever, I don't know. And we also get introduced to the Watcher, portrayed by Jeffrey Wright, who's Commissioner Gordon in the Batman next year, or 2022. And we see an alternative version to Doctor Strange attack the main version in that episode of What If, but it's not our main version because it's an Elseworld story, so it's another version, if that makes sense. That doesn't make any... You get what I'm trying to say. Do you? No? Okay. Whatever. Yeah, the trailer... I don't know. You can't really promote it because like every single episode is sort of a different thing. So it doesn't really show us anything about the overall storyline throughout the entire season. It just shows us like sneak peeks as to what will happen in some of the episodes. And I think some of the ideas like Peggy becoming Captain America is interesting. But then like T'Challa becoming like Star-Lord, like that's like the most random thing ever. So some of these ideas sound really exciting. Some of them I'm just like, why? What? But yeah, so I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I suppose I shouldn't like judge too quickly because we just saw like a short little trailer today. So we'll have to wait and see until when it comes out next year. Now, for their final sort of trailer sort of thing, it wasn't really a full-length trailer or whatever. It was a sizzle reel sort of thing, and it was of Miss Marvel. Now, it was confirmed a few weeks ago that Amanda Villani is cast as Miss Marvel, and the sizzle reel sort of shows her being cast, and, you know, it was her cute reaction of, like, I'm calm or whatever. That was hilarious. And, yeah, so they only started filming about a few weeks ago, so I didn't really expect any feature-length trailer or whatever, especially considering it's, like, 2 years away, so I'm not that surprised. It just shows a few shots of her at like this store with this other person, and like her at her home just like walking out and also just lying on her bed or whatever. It doesn't show really anything. I have a little bit of voiceover from like Kevin Feige, but tells us like barely anything else about the actual plot of the series. So I don't know. I think she's a really good... I think, you know, she was a great casting. She looks like she'll be able to play it well. And yeah, I know that there's a whole controversy surrounding the show right now about the showrunner and some really terrible claims. So I think if it's true, Marvel, why are you shitting on this person? Kick him out of it. But I don't know, so I'll have to wait and see what happens with this show. And apparently there's also some bad casting or something in regards to like different races. I'm not so sure. I'm probably not the best person to talk about that. But yeah, so there's a lot of controversy surrounding this show, and I hope that Marvel can like fix all these problems, and you know they'll be able to make a show that everyone loves. We'll have to just wait and see, I suppose. But from this little sizzle reel that we saw, I liked it, and I'm looking forward to what we see next year or whatever, whenever it comes out. Now, speaking of Miss Marvel, we also got confirmation that she will be appearing in her Idol Captain Marvel's movie, her sequel, along with a grown-up version of Monica Rambeau from WandaVision. So obviously we had Monica Rambeau in the original Captain Marvel, but she was a young child, about my age, and then because obviously that took place in the 1980s or whatever, 1990, and now it's going to be taking place probably in 2024 or whatever, it's going to be like a massive time jump, so obviously you expect Monica to grow up too, and we'd already seen her in the alternate reality sort of thing, helping Wanda in WandaVision. So it'd be the same Monica Rambeau that we already know from WandaVision. And yeah, and I think Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, will get kind of confusing, but it's been in the comics for a while now, and so I think we'll get warmed up to it. We're Marvel fans, so I think we should be able to adapt quickly to unconfusing situations. But so yeah. Now, one of the final confirmation that we got today was that Tatiana Maslany has been confirmed to be playing She-Hulk, along with Tim Roth returning as Abomination from The Incredible Hulk, and Hulk himself, Mark Ruffalo, will be reprising his role in this series, which I think there was slight rumours about or whatever, but there was no confirmation, and I literally screamed when I saw it because I was just like, this is probably the biggest news we got today, at least in my opinion, that Mark Ruffalo is coming back, because I don't know, it was just up in the air about what he'd do next in the MCU, and so it's going to be really, really cool to see this show. That's why it's quite high on my expectations. And Tim Roth, obviously, that was produced by Universal, so he hasn't been in the official Disney Cinematic Universe yet, so I'm excited to see what they do with this show and how they bring Abomination back. I don't know why people were doubting that Tatiana Maslany was playing the character, because, you know, Deadline, Variety, all the big trades had confirmed it already, and they wouldn't just make that a report if they're currently in discussions. It's obviously in their final stages. I think she was either she was new to the process or something, and she didn't want to be fired because she had NDA covered or something like that, or she just didn't want anyone to know or something. I'm not so sure why she denied it, but we all knew that she was going to be She-Hulk anyway. So it's I don't know. And also Kevin Feige heavily teased Daredevil by stating that since Jennifer Walters is a lawyer who specializes specifically in superhero-oriented legal cases, you never know what Marvel characters will show up from episode to episode. So this is a heavy tease, and basically just a wink to the audience that like it's gonna be Charlie Cox's Daredevil in this series. Because obviously last week we got other reports that he's going to be in Spider-Man 3, and you know, I'm not so sure about if this is actually true or not, or if it just could be like a completely other lawyer in the comics that no one knows about. Because I don't think he's that big of a fan of like the Netflix shows and stuff like that, and I don't think he wants to cross over with them. I don't think he even wants them to reference the Netflix shows, so let alone bring a character in. I don't know how legit it is until we get official confirmation. I'm not gonna jump on the bandwagon that he's definitely going to be in it, but if he comes in, that's going to be awesome. But I don't know how logical or practical that actually is in theory. He could be teasing someone completely different. But we'll have to wait and see, I suppose. So that is all we got from She-Hulk. Now let's discuss some brand new spin-offs that were announced. So here we go. So one of the first spin-offs that were announced today was a Secret Invasion show, which was confirmed to be with Samuel L. Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn coming back as both Nick Fury and Tala on Disney+. We also got news a few weeks ago about a Nick Fury show, and a lot of people were saying that it's going to be sort of like a sword show. But yeah, so this kind of confirms that there's going to be adapting that storyline. And as Kevin Feige says, it's about a set of Skrulls who have infiltrated every level of life on Earth. So obviously we saw that Tala wasn't posing as Nick Fury. One imposter remains. So we saw that Tala was posing as Nick Fury, and someone else has Mariah Hill at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home. So very curious as to like who else will be. Maybe we'll find out that Tony Stark the entire time was a Skrull. Who knows? But yeah, so apparently the Agents of S.W.O.R.D. connection will kind of tie to the end of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I haven't seen that show, so remember to tell you. But yeah, so I think that's really, really interesting, and yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting to see. You know, I love Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. Anytime I see him on screen, it's just a win-win-win, so I'm excited to see more of him in this series. The second show that was announced today was an Ironheart show, which has been confirmed to be coming to Disney+, which is going to be telling a story about a genius inventor known as Riri Williams, who has the most advanced suit of armor in the entire MCU since Iron Man, so that's 3 movies since Endgame. It has been confirmed that Dominique Thorne will be playing Ironheart, and both Secret Invasion and Ironheart will tie directly towards future Marvel films, so this just further proves the interconnection between the Marvel TV shows and the Marvel movies. I don't think any cinematic universe or any movies or whatever have been this interconnected with their TV universe as Marvel will be going forward. Kevin Feige, I trust him with all my heart. Like, he's got such a great idea, and it's going to be a really cool thing that they like interconnect throughout the entire phases. It's going to be really exciting. And the final spin-off that was announced today was an Armor Wars show, which is confirmed to be in development, which is about when Iron Man's tech is placed into the wrong hands, which is Tony's worst nightmare. Don Cheadle has been confirmed to be coming back as James Rhodes in this series. So that's a lot of like OG members are confirmed to be coming back today. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this show. We don't really know much about it. I know there's a whole comic series or whatever that's actually literally ripped off the comics, apparently, is what the show's going to be. So if you've read the comics, you probably know what the show's going to be about. All I know is it's placed into the wrong hands. But would Don Cheadle's character War Machine be the wrong hands though, because he was a friend? Who knows? So anyway, I lied when I said that that was the final spin-off. I was mistaken. There were 2 more spin-offs that were announced after this. They're both Guardians of the Galaxy spin-offs on Disney+. One of them is a holiday special, and another one's a Groot short series called I Am Groot. They're both going to be directed and produced by James Gunn, who directed the first 2 Guardians movies, and will be directing the third and the Suicide Squad. So he's really busy, and Peacemaker. He's really busy. And the holiday special will be filmed while the production of Guardians 3 is going on. So they're going to be like a simultaneous sort of filming thing. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't have any thoughts on this. Now let's talk about Thor, Love and Thunder. So we all know that Natalie Portman, based on all interviews and stuff like that, is quarantining in Australia right now. We've seen pictures of Kristen Bale and I believe Tessa Thompson. They're all in Sydney right now preparing and quarantining and all that sort of stuff. So they're filming in Australia and they're beginning filming in January. And with Christian Bale confirmed to be playing the villain known as Gore the God Butcher, which a lot of people were rumouring that he was going to be playing that character, and they happen to be correct. According to Deadline, this is their description of the character, he inherits supernatural powers and looks to destroy all gods as a payback after his family is killed by one. And he has a history of run-ins with Thor and Loki in the comics. So yeah, I think it's kind of a weird character that you get Christian Bale, an Oscar-winning actor, to be playing. Like, if they've gotten Christian Bale, I presume that, like, they get a major, like, main character or something, not just a villain in a Thor 4 movie. So, I'm confused when they got Christian Bale. But then again, Kate Blanchett was Hela, so I trust Taika Waititi. I love Thor Ragnarok, and he's got an Oscar on his resume now, so I'm looking forward to this movie very much so. And, you know, I'm kind of biased because Chris Hemsworth is Australian, and it's filmed in Sydney, so, yeah. Yeah, speaking of sequels, the title of Ant-Man 3 has been officially confirmed to be Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, Michael Douglas, and Michelle Pfeiffer have all been confirmed to be returning in the third movie. Actually, Michelle Pfeiffer confirmed this on an interview last week, which I was supposed to be talking about before we got the confirmation today. She said that, you know, that she'll be reprising her role as Janet in Ant-Man 3, and she also confirmed that filming will commence in June 2021. So we've still got quite a long way to go for that one. And the title Quantumania, it sounds a lot like Quarantine, so I'm kind of intrigued. But yeah, it sounds like a fun title. It's Ant-Man, so I assume it'll be a nice, fun, optimistic movie with Peyton Reed confirmed to be returning as a director. So that's going to be a really fun movie. I'm really excited for it. The second last news are obviously after the tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman earlier on this year. A lot of people have been saying, what should I do with this character? I've always said, do whatever Chadwick wanted, but if it was up to me, I wouldn't recast it, just because I feel like Chadwick is a child and T'Challa is Chadwick. But if, you know, if that's what the family wanted, if that's what he wanted, then please just do whatever he wants. Honor him whatever way he wanted. I trust in Kevin Feige, and they're not going to be recasting him. If that was up to me, that sounds like a great decision, but, you know, if that's against what Chadwick wanted, then I'm angry about that decision. But hopefully this is what he wanted. And instead, rather honor the character, but rather focus on other characters in Wakanda. I think that's kind of hinting at Shuri becoming Black Panther. It's Letitia Wright, and we all know the controversy that happened last week. I don't think that's worth her getting fired. It was so wrong for her to be posting that, but don't think bad enough to actually get fired over. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see, I suppose. But anyway, so yeah, I'm sure you'll probably take up the mantle, and, you know, maybe they'll have to kill off T'Challa off screen, and they can have a proper tribute to him in the beginning of Black Panther 2, where the hell will have a funeral or something like that for T'Challa, and that'll be very emotional. But yeah, so that's all the news we got from Black Panther 2. Now let's discuss the massive news. We finally got some updates on Fantastic Four, and it has been confirmed that the director of the 3 Spider-Man movies in the MCU, John Watts, he will be directing this movie, and that's the first family in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so I'm really looking forward to that. I'm very curious as to how they will differentiate it from the previous versions, both in 2015 and in 2001, or whatever year it was. We've had 2 Fantastic Four iterations before, so how they will differentiate it, and also can interconnect it into the MCU as well. I'm really intrigued by that. But yeah, those are all the Marvel news, those are all the Disney and Pixar news, and those are all the Lucasfilm news. As I said, I didn't even talk about like half of the Disney movie news. But so yeah, you can obviously go and check out the stream. I believe you can watch it on playback, it's archived or something like that. I'm not so sure. But yeah, you can check out all these articles and stuff like that. All linked below, all my sources that I used in this video. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Today was an awesome day. I think it beat DC fandom, and I'm really hoping that they keep streaming it going forward, because I know it's an in-person event and where only like journalists can see in person, which is kind of annoying. But I hope they stream it going forward, because it was great as a community just to watch it together. It was so much fun, and I really enjoyed this event, and I really enjoyed talking about it with you guys today. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video with me, and we can leave me your thoughts as to what I said in this video down below. Leave me your thoughts on your theories, on what you think of the news, whatever. Leave your comments down below. Be sure to subscribe and turn on the post notifications so you guys know when I upload my video next. And I'm so excited. I keep saying this every single week, but Wonder Woman in 2 weeks from today. Well, in a few hours from today. So yeah, I'm really excited, and I'll have my review out, and Among Us Part 2 this weekend. We'll be filming, hopefully, who knows, I'm not so sure. But anyway, so yeah, turn on post notifications so you guys know when I upload any of those videos, and stay tuned for next week's episode. And yeah, take care, please do whatever you have to do, wear your mask, just make sure we get life back to normal. And so yeah, we've got a lot ahead, obviously, as Disney shows, so I'll be with you throughout this entire journey, and I cannot wait. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time. My name is Jordan, and I'm out. Bye!